What's up, everybody? It's your local hero back again. Today I'm gonna talk about something a lot different, man. Today I'm gonna talk about the division of the African American community. Half of y'all Democrats, half of y'all Republicans. Both of y'all are idiots. I'm gonna tell you why. Neither one of these parties give a damn about your black ass. Okay? Let's keep that 100. I would rather deal, and I've said this, and people disagree with me, but I would rather deal with an outright racist than a closeted racist. At least with an outright racist, I know where he stands. With a closeted racist will smile and laugh in your face and stab you in your back. And it hurts more when you think they're your friend. You gotta know who's your friend and who's not. Joe Biden is not your friend. Joe Biden has said he helped everybody but us. Joe Biden sat there and he's given $64 million to the Afghani people who's moving here. He's paving the way for the Latino people, the Mexican people to get into the country legally. Meanwhile, he's roping up Haitians like cattle and kicking them out. He created a hate. I don't call it the Asian hate crime bill. It was a crime bill. It was a hate bill. However, it was focused around the Asians because the Asians were getting disproportionately beat up or some shit. Did enough for you. I remember when he came in office, he said he's gonna sit down with all these black economists. I don't know why I could never say that word, economists. And he said he was gonna say, hey, he's gonna have a talk about the racial wealth gap, and he hasn't done that yet. I remember when Ice Cube sat there and he said, hey, I've talked to Dr. Claude, I've talked to all these brilliant African Americans, and I've came up with a plan to help the black community. Now, I'm not a Donald Trump fan, so before I say this, I'm saying that before I say this. Donald Trump at least had somebody to meet with him. Joe Biden said, hey, we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you. Right now, we're talking to Cardi B. See, that's our problem. We forget that Joe Biden wrote the crime bill. Now, we don't forget, we forgive. We're the only people to do that. We forget that Bill Clinton put it in the law. We forget Kamala Harris enforced that crime bill. We forget Kamala Harris could have saved a man's life that was the same color as me, could have saved his life. She withheld evidence to after he died, and the only reason she released it is because the Supreme Court told her to. These are all facts you can look up. We forget that Biden used to hang around a KKK member. He spoke at his eulogy. A lot of people want to say, oh, well, he apologized and he tried to clean up his... Nobody want to hear that shit. Nobody want to hear that shit. Jesus forgives. That's who forgives. Because once you forgive and forget, you in trouble. See, our ancestors forgave them for slavery, then they created Jim Crow. We forgave them for Jim Crow, then the cops started killing us. We can't keep sitting up here forgiving and forgetting. We got to start remembering. So my solution to the problem is very simple. Groom a candidate and put money behind that candidate. If you got money to buy Jordans, you got money to buy Gucci, you got money to buy Louis, Burberry, Prada, you got all this money to buy this shit, build you a candidate. You could put $10 on it, you could put 20, you could put 100, put something behind that candidate. Put money behind that candidate. Take that money that you was going to waste buying a pair of shoes you're going to wear about 3 or 4 times and throw away, put that behind the candidate. So he doesn't need big corporations to step in and give him money. Because once those corporations step in and start giving him money, you owe the corporation a favor. It's like the mafia. I'll do this for you, but you owe me. That's what we need. We need to start our own party and build our own candidates. We build our own politicians and just build them locally. And they can grow from there. But build them locally. You see the Asians, they don't give a fuck who the president is. The Jews, the Russians, they don't give a fuck who the president is. You know why? Because their community is secured, because they have representatives who live in that community, who can speak for that community, who will speak for that community. So if you're in the city, you got aldermen, council members, whatever you got, you need to go ahead, find you somebody to get behind and say, hey, we're going to help you out. But this is what you need to do to keep our support. That's what we need to do. Because right now, the Democrats are losing. The ones that winning is barely winning. And they're going to blame it on us. They're going to say, well, the youth and the African-American vote, people didn't turn out. You know we didn't turn out. We tired of voting for motherfuckers who just tell us shit and don't deliver. Matter of fact, these motherfuckers even stop talking to us. They don't tell us shit no more. Biden's whole premise was, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. You disrespectful, racist piece of shit. How dare you question my blackness because I don't want to vote for your racist ass? Who locked up hundreds of thousands of nonviolent drug offenders? The fuck up. And you know who else? And you know who's behind it? You know who's behind it? The Black Caucus. So every member of the Black Caucus who was a member in 1994 need to be voted the fuck out. Period. Because they were overwhelmingly behind it. They were behind it more than the white people. So if they signed this bill and didn't read it, then they need to get the fuck out there because they don't know how they're not doing their due diligence, or they don't give a fuck about their job, and they don't give a fuck about their constituents. But every black person that was in that office that read that shit that was there in 94 need to get the fuck up out of there. Period. We need to get all them old people the fuck up out of there. Because if you're 80, you should not be determining what the fuck is going to happen 10 years from now. Because 9 out of 10, you won't be here 10 years from now. People at that age should not be making laws that would affect my kids and their kids. There need to be an age cap on the president. You should not be allowed to be the president, I'm going to say after 70. Anybody over 70 shouldn't be president. Just like 65, they make you retire, they should do the same thing in politics. Period. But these are just my thoughts. If you feel a certain way, so, and